Yo, yo, yo. For the last time in 2025, this is the Around the 412 Fantasy Football Show. Happy New Year's, everybody. So glad that you were joining us here on this fine Wednesday evening. A little bit earlier than we're used to, but the players are going to play, the ballers are going to ball, and Drew Hannis is going to shot call everything this fine evening. Drew, Happy New Year, buddy. How you doing? How was championship week for you for kind of the normal championship week? We still got some degenerates
Yeah.
who play a little bit of week 18, but how did it fare out for you in week 17?
Honestly, pretty solid. Much better than last year when I had 17 leagues. I went to the playoffs in 16, and I lost in the semis of 15 of 16, and
Yeah,
lost.
you were like ready to quit fantasy football after that.
I was so bitter. But this year, I was in 4 championships. I won 2. One of them I got absolutely smoked in, which I was kind of shocked by considering the other personality, Josh Jacobs, and some other people that put up gooses, Jalen Waddle. But it just the rest of my guys were just very mid. Jameer Gibbs destroyed me in the 2 that I lost. That was a killer. But 2 out of 4 this year is good. I'm psyched for. I'm ready for 2026. I already activated and transitioned all the dynasty leagues that I'm commissioned of. So I'm already ready to roll, get ready for that rookie draft, even though I don't have any picks. But
yeah, shout out to our boy Tyler Hurnley, who has already paid up for the 2026.
I know. I just marked him on my sheet. I was like crazy.
I don't even have the sheet yet. I haven't transitioned into the new year. This man is on it. He co-commissions a dynasty league with me. One of the greats. He is very knowledgeable. He finally got his team together in the league that we're in. He came in second. It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
he's kind of been a bottom dweller for a while and finally put the pieces together. So I'm happy for him.
He told me that his high score was Puka, which was only like 15. So tells you how the second place went, but it's still good that he was in the ship.
Yeah,
progress.
All right, man. Well, we are here because there are some folks that still believe in playing it all the way till the end. We are going to go through and answer all the questions that you have related to that. So if you're here in the chat, let us know. If you have some questions about next year, let us know. We can do that too. If it's dynasty related, we can hit that as well. But for those of you that are still out there, still playing, or even just looking at some like DFS stuff, Drew, for the last time in 2025, throw on the lab coat. Tell the people what they need to know on an injury front.
Yeah, I don't have many this week, which is weird, but Harold Fannin suffered a groin injury against the Steelers last week. He did not practice today. I think he's day-to-day. I mean, they don't have anything to play for on Sunday, so they might just sit him and get him ready for 26. But, I think you got to make other options just in case Fannin doesn't play. He's been really good, rookie over for the Browns at tight end. So if you're in the week 18, it's possible you still have him. But I would try to get prepared just in case he doesn't play. It doesn't really make sense for him to play, and he hasn't practiced yet. So the guy I would look to have another option for. Javonte Williams, he's been dealing with a shoulder injury the last few weeks. He re-aggravated it last week on Christmas. He wasn't on the injury report today. I just looked it up right before we started. So I think he's going to go, but it could be a heavy dose of him and Malik Davis because Malik Davis has shown a little bit the last couple of weeks when he's had the opportunity to carry the ball. It kind of looks like a 2025 version of Zeke and Tony Pollard with the way things have gone. Malik Davis has looked like the real explosive backup guy, like what Pollard was a few years ago. And Javonte's kind of slowed down a little bit from what he was doing at the beginning of the year, kind of more like a Zeke kind of role. Week 18, again, another team that doesn't have anything to play for. I think that if he does play, you're probably looking at like a 50-50 split. So I'd be weary about that if you're on the fence about playing him versus someone else. And then the last guy I have here, Josh Jacobs, who's been struggling the last few weeks. He's very hurt.
Man, talk about a bummer for last week. And it was surprising, too, just because he practiced last week. He got, 3 carries?
Yeah.
And a must-win for them? It was shocking.
It was really weird because with Malik Willis at quarterback, historically, the Packers have run the ball 78% of their snaps with him under center. It's crazy for him to only get 3 carries. But Malik Willis looked good with his arm. They were playing from behind, so it kind of game script dependent kind of hurt him a little bit. But I expect him to sit. Week 18, they don't have anything to play for. They're locked into the 7th spot, so I think that he'll sit, especially with how injured he is, they probably want to give him a week. So if you have him and you need him for week 18, preferably you can get Emmanuel Wilson, who also really hasn't looked that good either the last couple of weeks. Besides the one fill-in game you have from where he popped off, he wasn't really affected the last 2 weeks either. So hopefully you can find an even better option. Like a guy for me that I would bring up right away is Tank Bigsby. I know you're going to transition into headlines shortly, but the Eagles are not expected to play their starters. And he's looked good. Actually, I think he's looked better than Saquon the last month or so when he's had opportunities when they were, up by a lot and he was getting some run. Like he's given the most of his opportunities and he's looked good.
Sure.
So Tank Bigsby's a guy that I would start if he's available on your waivers, which he probably is. I'm sure he's going to be in a lot of DFS lineups. Definitely my DFS lineup for this week. But
nice.
Those are the 3 injuries we got to deal with in week 18. Obviously, I think Lamar's going to play.
It sounds like he was a full participant today. They said he looked good, so I would expect him to. Rico Dowdle, they missed practice on Tuesday, but he was back Wednesday. They've already ruled out Marv Harrison. Talk about a disappointing sophomore season.
I thought I just read that he was going to play.
He got 6 hours ago. He got ruled out.
Oh, I read it wrong then.
Yeah. And then Kittle's back at practice. McCaffrey has back stiffness, but that's probably just from carrying the team all season. Like, wouldn't really worry about it. Although I don't know why they would play him, so someone to keep an eye on. They said it's nothing serious, but it's just like
CMC.
Yeah.
Well, they're a winner take all game too with the Seahawks this week, right?
Yeah, I guess that they would want to play him. I just feel like there's just more to lose with having him hurt, than playing Bijan Robinson and just seeing where the check falls. But that's just me.
Maybe they just limit him during the game to whatever they need. Because if they win, they get a first round bye. So
right, yeah, which could be worth it, I suppose. Yeah. Those are pretty nice. All right, yeah, so let's transition into our fantasy football headlines. Not a ton. Drew, what I wanted to ask you, looking back on the season, I want to know, who was your fantasy MVP for this year? It's been a lot of really good high performers, but who do you feel like was most valuable this season for a lot of teams?
The obvious pick, and it's hard not to pick this guy because I have him on so many rosters, and the 2 teams that I won, I have him. The championships I was in, I have him. Puka Nacua. He was in nearly 30% of ESPN leagues that were champions this year. Like, the dude missed several weeks with that injury he suffered, and he just carried so many teams. And I know that this will probably come up again during Tinder, but the dude's just remarkable. If he wouldn't have had some rough play from DJ Humphries, which the one holding call that he got on his touchdown, that wasn't a hold.
That was crazy.
It was horrific. The dude.
I would have went 4 for 5 if it wasn't for that hold.
Yeah, I honestly think that there's a shot I win in that other league if they call that and they give him the sideline catch, which he did bobble the catch, but it was remarkable that he got his hands on it.
Yeah.
I wish there wasn't always a rule that you have to get both feet in. Like, if you make an insane catch like that you have no business even catching the football, just give it to the dude. Come on.
I think that's a JJ Zachariason thing. He says, if it has the cool factor, it should just count no matter what.
Yeah, give him the catch, and then, in that case, because it wasn't really a catch, mark him 10 yards short, kind of like a penalty type thing.
Yeah, throw a personal foul, move the ball back 15.
Yeah, just so we could get the fantasy points, but then they're still not in field goal range. But yeah, Puka's been so good. Another guy I wanted to bring up too, because I think you mentioned when you texted me, or it was in the tweet about some things to that you can look back on from 2025. The biggest thing for me, which I guess I'm foreshadowing later in the show, was not always assuming the worst with guys. Jacoby Brissett was a hell of a fantasy football pickup off waivers, and I ignored the dude for several weeks as a Kyler Murray owner in Dynasty thing, and there was never going to be any reason why I would start this dude. Why take up the roster space? And then it was too late for me to pick him up once someone actually noticed, after 1 week, what the hell, might as well.
Sure.
He's another guy that was just he's a fantasy darling for this year, because
I think you could say that about a lot of guys. If you look at CMC, he was somebody that slid down boards when in hindsight it's CMC should have been a top 3 person off the board. I had him as my RB4 on the year behind Bijan, which I have no regrets about, Gibbs, which I have no regrets about, and then Saquon, I was kind of like,
He was my RB3. CMC
yeah,
was.
and then CMC was my 4. So I
I
was
think
like,
I
all right,
told you at the beginning of the year. I mean, Bijan was my 1-1, but I was taking CMC over Jamar Chase, if you
right,
remember.
yeah. But that's because you were like, all right, like you don't even like having the 101.
I hate having the player that everybody thinks is the unanimous 1-1 because that's just for some reason.
There's weird stuff that happens with it for sure. And I think
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, like, he avoided it, but it wasn't what you were expecting as far as like the ADP, which is like an impossible standard to live up to. But
I think he was still in the top 10 though, right? Which
yeah, definitely close. I mean, Cortland Sutton was number 10, so
he was 5.
Yeah,
Chase was 5. So like that's still really great. But
Chase was 5 with boom weeks. I don't think that you feel like you got a wide receiver 5 performance out of him. Where it's like I would be curious to see like the number of wide receiver 1 finishes that he had.
Yeah, like we were talking about it through the middle of the season when it was Jake Browning before Flacco. I was trying to Tinder this dude every week because I was like, I'm out on him. I'm out on him. I'm out on him. And Flacco revived him a little bit.
Right.
But it still wasn't what you paid for. And I feel like that's how it always is with the 1-1. Like it's always the guys never do what they did the previous year that made them the unanimous 1-1.
Right. Yeah. And then a couple other people that come to mind. I mean, Drake May, obviously, you were able to get him super late. That was awesome. The other one
that preseason though too. You were really in on the Drake May factor because of the rushing.
Every championship roster that I have, Drake May is on that team.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a good hit on your part.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one is, and this kind of leads into your point about like, don't assume the worst in people. Javonte Williams. I mean, he was an 8th, 9th round guy that's been an RB1. Like, if you can find that kind of person, like, there was no risk. Like, even if you believed in Jadon Blue, even if you thought that Miles Sanders maybe have something in the tank, like, there is no way that a starting running back should have fell that far in drafts.
Yeah. It's so funny, too, because
if it didn't work out, you could just cut him.
Yeah, right. It's so funny, though, because in the preseason, like, I think right after free agency happened, he was my free agency only fantasy. And then I started to fade him. And then I think after the draft, you made Javonte your only fantasy because they didn't draft a running back. And I faded him because I thought they were going to draft the running back. And then we both kind of just ignored him a little bit. But then when we did our preseason mock drafts, we were always picking him because he was going in like round 12. Right. It's just funny how that worked out because like we were like so up and down on him. And then we Tindered him in week 1 and we both swiped left because we didn't think that he would perform the way he did.
And he did.
It's crazy, but awesome.
So it makes it fun for sure. But I think like if in terms of like pure value for picks, like he might have been the best.
Chris Olave.
Olave was sick too.
I have to victory lap that though,
and I have Olave on all of my championship teams too. Like
you just because a dude suffers an injury the year before, I know his situation was very. It was okay to be nervous about him because it was concussions, but like if they say that he's okay coming into the season, you have to assume that he is, and he was an 8th round, 9th round value. I think he's top 5 in targets on the season.
You know what it reminds me a lot of is remember like there was a stretch. It was the year before we had like our big only fantasy year, and I picked Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen had like a stretch of like ruptured spleen, like all broken collarbone, like all of these random injuries that like weren't any way, shape, or form related, and then people were like, "Oh, he's injury prone," and it's like maybe. But, like, if he stays on the field, like, he's going to be a target monster. Like, that was Chris Olave. Like, I wanted Olave on the Steelers something terrible this year because I was like, before the last concussion, he was talked about in the same breath as, like, a Garrett Wilson, as, like, all of these guys. And it's like, okay, he had a concussion, maybe a couple, and now you're just fading him completely? Like, insane.
Smoke that I got for tweeting about Chris Olave being a Steeler in, like, March was insane. Of course, half of that tweet said that we should re-sign Justin Fields to pair with Olave, which was the rough part. But so many people were out on Olave because of his injury and his concussion. But how many targets do you think he had? I just pulled it up.
This year, I want to say he is probably in 17, probably in the 130 range.
156.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra is second at 157, so he was one target off.
Okay, hold on. While you're talking about Amon-Ra, how is next year? You know it's going to happen. Amon-Ra can't be wide receiver 1. I'm not drafting him.
And go ahead, don't pick him. Like, he was injured most of the second half of the season as well. The Lions struggled entirely. Their offensive line, they'll figure that out in the offseason. They'll be back to what they were last year, next year. I'm not worried about that one bit.
But people get so caught up in chasing the high that it's like people were like, oh, let me get Brian Thomas. Let me get like all of these guys. And it's like Amon-Ra was sitting right there.
Like, Brian Thomas won't be a Jaguar next year. I just don't see it.
Wow.
The way they re-signed Jacoby, Parker Washington's played well enough to.
But the real concern, if you're not in an IDP league,
Travis Hunter too.
Travis Hunter, does he play full-time quarterback?
I still think he's going to be a receiver because that's where he's going to make his money. But it's going to be annoying because he's going to be like, he's going to play more snaps on defense some games and then more on offense some games. Like you'll have to like really, we're going to have to figure out a pattern of when they do what, like what type of receivers that he's going up against on defense that makes him, outsnap his offensive numbers. But like, there's something's going to stand out to people and we're going to figure it out, but it's going to be really annoying until we do.
Right. But yeah, we'll see. But I feel like people that traded up for him are like, hey, like he's going to be a wide receiver. It's like, I don't know. We'll see. But
he's a buy low candidate in the
yeah. Let's keep the show moving though. Let's jump into Fantasy Football Tinder. So if you have not rode with us all season, you're here for the first time, week 18. Let's just kind of walk through what this looks like with an example of our friend Zach, who is probably on pins and needles as we move into this week 18 matchup. Oh man, amateur hour. Zach, over under 3 targets from the X position on Sunday. We know that DK Metcalf is suspended. They threw the ball to MVS way more times than I ever would have dreamed of in a season. We did a 4th and 1 go route in front of my face live to Scotty Miller. I almost got kicked out of the stadium for saying, is that a effing go route to Scotty Miller? And the whole section was just like.
I think Pat was wide open over the middle on that play. It was either him or Kenny G. I think it was Pat, though.
Kenny G would have been the last play, but this was earlier in the game. But yeah.
I know. I just can't remember which one. I know Kenny G definitely was on the last play.
But if Zach was to suit up, people would swipe right. You'll see that with the green hearts on the screen. But if for people that are hating, they're saying there's no way, he's kind of washed up, there's no way he can do it, then you're going to see the red X's pop up. So, Drew, let's take a little bit of a look at next year. Bijan Robinson, hell of a season, hell of a player, hell of a championship week. I mean, the dude, you might have needed a Monday Night Miracle. This dude just casually throws up 200 yards, no big deal. Has a 90-plus yard rushing touchdown. It was so sick. So many times where it was just like, okay, like I'm going to be tackled for a loss. Skirt. Nope, I'm out of there. 10-yard gain. Do you think that he is the Bijan? Do you think that Bijan Robinson is the 101 going into 2026?
In redraft, he is my 1-1. I don't think he's going to be unanimous 1-1 in the industry, though, and I think that's why I lean towards him being my 1-1 more often. Because, like, again, we talked about this. I typically don't follow suit with whatever everybody else is drafting 1-1. I think Puka's going to be 1-1 unanimously. I could see Jamar Chase coming back up to be 1-1 again because he did still lead the NFL in targets. After all that, he still was the leading target getter. So I think that those two guys are probably going to be more unanimous 1-1s in the industry, but like I don't follow suit. And I was the same in 2025. Bijan was my 1-1. It's just hard to argue with the production that he had. I think that it'd be nice if he scored some more touchdowns. It's tough. Obviously, it's a fluky thing, but he averaged over 100 scrimmage yards every game, and he averaged 6 targets per game. Like, the running back position is scarce. You want to get the best running back you possibly can early on in every draft, and I think that Bijan is that guy. The only guy I would consider up there with him is CMC. Gibbs is right there too for me, but like he was kind of like up and down as well. But like he had some insane boom games, but then he had some flat games. The last 2 weeks he didn't perform. He got saved by a couple touchdowns against the Steelers. I think Bijan would be my 1-1 in 2026.
Yeah. Do you have any concern? And the reason why I'm swiping left isn't so much for anything else than like the amount of carries and touches that he has. I'm a little bit concerned about that. That was a big thing for CMC last year, and people rode that wave. Bijan wasn't that far off from what Saquon did last year and 2 years in a row. I get that he's a young stallion. I get that like he is probably the best running back prospect outside of Saquon that we've had in some time. And that's even with this like huge class that we had. Like I would say that he was better than Genty coming out.
Yes.
In my opinion, for sure, right? So it's like, do I have concern about him potentially like facing that? But as we know, I don't worry about injuries. I will draft CMC till he dies. I don't know if I'll touch him next year just because I feel like I've got a good year out of him and I don't want to jinx myself. But I feel like with Bijan, like you just have to let it roll. But I don't know. It's too early for me to tell. But that I need to see like where that touch number ends up being. I know he's just been on the ball just a crap ton. So
you know that you ever see that play at Texas where he gets like flipped over and turns into Gumby?
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to worry about him after seeing that because
and he's only at 270 on the year, which is surprising.
Yeah, I think that he didn't run the ball. Like he didn't get a lot of rushing attempts either. So like the amount of touches doesn't scare me because I feel like Algier took away from
he
the workload.
He definitely does.
A lot of passing down work and a lot of receiving or receptions. So like a lot of his performance came in the open field. So it's not like he's getting hit as much as like these other guys. Like Saquon was like up the gut. I mean, he had great O-line play, so he wasn't getting touched until like the second level a lot of the time. But Bijan doesn't really have that type of game. It's not how they use it.
No, he's sick. So yeah, I think he'll definitely be up there in the top. He was my top running back off the board this year. I probably, if I had the 1-1, I would never pick it. But if I did, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to argue against, but I probably end up going receiver. I've always liked going receiver early and then hitting the running backs hard, but we'll see how it shakes.
It changes year to year. I always like to be late so I can get the turn. Like I tweeted this to you last night, but like we were so hell bent on the turn of getting Puka. It was Puka, Neighbors, and CMC. Like we wanted to do those three, and if you did the Puka CMC turn, odds are you won your championship.
Yeah, even if you had HN in one of those receivers, like there was a lot of good there for sure. It felt like this year especially, you could get a stud early, but it felt like there was 15 or 16 like first round worthy picks, and I stand by that looking back on the season. And I think if you were able to be in the back half, then that was the case. And I feel like trending in the next year, it's going to be a lot more of the same. I think the harder part is like someone like Trey McBride, who was on a lot of my championship teams, slid to the third or fourth. That's probably not going to happen again.
Yeah. I have a league where, I took second in this league and I still can't believe it, but I ended up with Gibbs in the mid first round. Puka slid, and I got Jonathan Taylor in round 3. It's the most insane team I've ever had in my life, and I came in second.
Yeah. All right. So while we're on this kind of like reminiscing trail, one of the things I wanted to do today was kind of just take a look at some of our bolder predictions from the year. And as a Pittsburgh fan would do, if you recall at the beginning of the season, we threw them up on billboards. So Drew, we're going to start with you. So come out of hiding, come say hello, and let's just kind of talk about some of the bold predictions that you had for this season. So bold prediction number 1. And we kind of did ours as like a mild, medium, kind of hot sort of situation. You said Trey McBride is going to score more TDs this year than his career total of 6. I mean, that's a hit. You nailed it. That's good stuff. So Trey McBride on the season. Tight end 1, which I had, which is super awesome. 11 touchdowns this year. 17 on.
You really doubled it. I wasn't even bold enough. I should have said that.
No, you could have done more. If you were a coward, you would have maybe not done. But you know what? That's okay because you were on. This is your low burning. This is your low fruit. Let's get a little bit spicier. All right. So Kyle Pitts finish as a top 5 tight end. Drew, please tell the class, where did Kyle Pitts finish in tight end ranks this year?
I actually have to check, but I think he was tight end 2.
Oh, man. Crazy. Okay. And you know what? If you would have said this when you did, people like, you're just saying this to say it. Like, this is kind of insane.
I remember talking about this. I got a lot of pushback in the chat too. And
You did.
Don't underestimate the fact that Kyle Pitts and Michael Penix are golfing together. But guess what? Michael Penix had nothing to do with it.
At all. All of the reasons were incorrect, but you were technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. Bold prediction number 3.
This one didn't happen, I don't think, right?
Dak Prescott will finish as QB1. But Dak Prescott, monster year. That Dallas offense combined with the Dallas defense, everything that we thought it would be. So, I mean, all things considered.
What was he, 3, 4?
It was 4, right?
Yeah.
Because Drake May ended up being QB1.
Yeah. No, he's still 2. Josh Allen's still a little bit ahead of him.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, it's really close, though.
I think that second half that he had last week kind of saved him.
Yeah.
Because Drake May going into championship week was 1. I'm surprised that it could be a league settings thing too. I don't know.
Yeah, let me look.
Let's see. So yeah, Josh Allen scored 30 more points than Drake May.
Yeah, so it's close though.
And then Dak was at 5 because Trevor Lawrence went sicko mode there at the end.
Dak's 4 now though. He passed him again, and
you know what it is? For whatever reason, Fantasy Pros scores either interceptions or fumbles different.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this.
Yeah.
I just pulled it right off of ESPN scoring.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I did not do as well on my billboards.
You're bolder than I am, that's all.
But they were paid for. I haven't been canceled. So that's a win.
I don't remember yours, so let's do it.
All right. So Jalen Warren outscores Caleb Johnson.
Oh.
Which is so funny. Like,
Jalen Warren outscored Caleb Johnson 1 game versus his entire season.
Caleb Johnson has 0.9 fantasy points on the season.
I outscored Caleb Johnson.
But like, it's crazy that this was like a bold take over the summer.
I know.
Like that's just a wild thing. Okay, so here's where it starts to fall apart.
Read it and you just laugh.
Justin Fields will finish as a top 6 QB. If we stop the count after week 1, that is true. That did happen. I don't know how he pieced up the Steelers, but he was very motivated. It did not work out that way. And that's fine. That's cool.
I'd be interested to see at what point in the season did he fall out of the top 5? Because he was up there at the beginning because he ran.
Well, he was like he was on, and then he was off, then he was on, then he was off. And what was frustrating is I had him and Dak both. And it was like week 1 I played Dak, and then Justin Fields had the big game, and I lost by like 5 points.
It's so funny when we look back at our mocks too, because the whole time we were going Dak and Fields together in all of our mocks. Week
2, I played Fields because he looked so good. He was terrible. I would have won if I played Dak, and I did that for like 6 weeks. And I was like, this is not fun. Okay. DJ Moore, top 15 wide receiver. I don't know if you've looked recently at the Chicago receiving metrics. Pretty much every player has the same number of receptions, which is around 40. They have the same number of yards, which is around 600. And then they have the same number of passing touchdowns.
Everything went to shit when Rome got hurt, though. He was still a top 20. He was still going to fall off because he was struggling. But it's just like, what would it look like? Like DJ Moore's wide receiver 31. He might not have cracked the top 40.
But you know what I think I'm realizing is that Caleb Williams is much more of a Jordan Love quarterback in the sense that he's going to follow the offense. He's going to distribute the ball, and he's not going to hyper target one player. This prediction was predicated on the fact that like DJ Moore is my veteran receiver. I'm going to hyper target him, and we're going to do that. I think that Rome gets overdrafted. I think Luther Burden will be overdrafted. I think Colson Loveland will be overdrafted. they're going to use all of those guys, and they will have value. I like them a lot more as far as like a best ball kind of thing, because then you don't have to worry about the week. And then
season-long only fantasy.
I don't have them on hand, but I do want to give a shout out to my boy Matt Monty. He does some content in a lot of different places. He's on the Football Guys. He does some stuff for FSAN. He just won the Kings Classic IDP. So that's like a tournament that they host at the Fantasy Football Expo. So shout out to my boy Matt Monty. Hell of a dude. And it takes a lot to say that for somebody that is a Cincinnati fan, but really good people. You guys would really be good friends. So Drew, we got to get you out to the Expo next year, but props to you, Matt. Hope you're having a great week, great New Year's, all that stuff, but appreciate you jumping in. But let me see, I could probably pull it up real quick. We were talking about this before the show as kind of like the producer of everything. Let's see, Fantasy Fever Dreams, that would have been our Tinders for the year.
Mine was Rome.
You had Rome, and then I had Kamara. So, I mean, I don't know if we even need to talk about it. Kamara, that fall off. I mean, if we're going for fallouts, I mean, Kamara, the way that the offense was utilized in terms of speed, fantastic. I didn't expect them to be a downfield throwing the ball offense. I thought they would have kind of relied on the more of the underneath game, but it is what it is. Matt's also saying he's pretty sad about Burrow being wasted. I can't empathize, but
I think things are fine.
I think it's pretty good. I think nature is healing. The Steelers and the Ravens are competing for Week 18. The Browns and the Bengals are done for the year. Life is good. It's kind of how it should be. But all right, Drew, you talked about only fantasy. We're gonna just jump into that segment now. We've got one pick only. Week 18. Who do you got in this pivotal Week 18 matchup? Who's your guy for this week? And actually, hold on.
You could just
before I do that, we got to reflect on last week. We both struggle a little bit.
Oh.
I started my New Year's a little bit early, so my mental state is a little bit gone there. But I had Kenny G. I watched him in person, 7 for 26, 3 receptions for 12 yards, RB34. I really thought they were going to utilize him more, especially with the suspension to Metcalf. It did not pan out that way. You picked Ashton Genty. If you would have read my article, you would have known you should have faded him. He was a frick for me last week, but that's okay. The volume has been there all year. Ashton Genty will probably be drafted on every one of my teams next season. He is going to probably be in the Jonathan Taylor range next year, but they're probably going to improve the offensive line. Their quarterback play can't get any worse.
We got to see what that offensive coordinator looks like too.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like his value, you drafted him expecting him to put up a Zeke performance, a Saquon performance, a Bijan Robinson performance, a Jahmyr Gibb type performance, but that offensive line is more important than we realize.
We kind of got a rookie Bijan performance, except it was a different reason. Bijan just didn't get the ball enough in his rookie year.
Right, yeah.
Didn't have the production.
So without further ado, Drew. Oh, what a rhyme. Week 18, you get one name only. I like this pick, by the way. I wrote about it. It hasn't been published. I would have sent it to you.
Why don't you just read your entire article?
Because it hasn't been published yet, and then I have to go and find it. But
so that's why I haven't seen it. Okay. Yeah, comment on guy. There's a few reasons why I like comment on guy. I think that obviously the Lions have been terrible on the ground the last few weeks. The Steelers had 2 top 5 running backs against them a couple weeks ago.
Can I pause real quick?
Go ahead.
Phillip Rivers is retired.
What the fuck? I'm sorry.
7 minutes ago, breaking news. He is re-retired. He was furious about the benching and has retired, I guess.
Why couldn't oh my god, the dude just couldn't show up for one more week?
Like you're passing on a paycheck to wear like a headset and a clipboard. Like, what are you doing, bro?
What the hell?
He knew he wasn't
getting that insurance covered for the next 5 years. He's good.
He's got 30 kids, man.
What a joke, seriously.
My bad, but you can continue. I just needed get that out there because that's breaking.
It's hilarious. So I don't even care. But yeah, the Lions have been terrible against the rushing attacks that they've been facing the last few weeks. And honestly, like they have nothing to play for. I could see Aiden Hutchinson kind of be on a snap count because they don't want to go into another offseason where he's rehabbing a freak injury. Like the dude's healthy. Don't ruin it for 2026. And obviously, I think Swift will probably still be good, but a lot of people aren't starting Monongai, so I want to be a little deeper with this, not just starting Swift, who's been like a must start anyways.
But he also has that nagging groin injury, and it's like you know that you're in the playoffs. Why would you push it with him?
Agreed. And they've already been like a 50-50 split. Like it's been close. So, but the main thing with Monongai too is like his efficiency's been good. He offers a little bit in the passing game. Doesn't fumble. Like he's a great dude to start in week 18. I think that if I would have known yesterday that the Eagles were going to sit Barkley and Hurts, I probably would have picked Tank Bigsby, so I led with him. But like Monongai, Bigsby, great DFS plays this week. I don't even know who you picked, but I'll probably pick whoever you picked and throw them on my DFS.
I thought I texted you. But yeah, my pick for the week is Cortland Sutton.
Oh, you told me like right before the show.
Yeah. Better late than pregnant, you know?
Yeah.
So I picked Cortland Sutton. So in the last 4 weeks, he's had 10 or more targets. He has had 2 top 10 finishes in the last 3 weeks. And Drew, do you know that Cortland Sutton is number 10 on the year for wide receivers? It doesn't feel like it at all.
Yeah, it's so sleepy.
I think part of it's the last 2 weeks, but it's just been kind of like that consistent. I'm getting targets. I'm doing things. I stayed healthy. Like I don't feel like I'm screaming from the rooftop like, yes, I have Sutton. But I think he's in for a good week. He's got the good matchup, so let's see where it rolls. And Denver is playing for that number 1 seed, so you know they're going to be pedal to the metal. It seems like
Chargers, right?
Yeah, and the Chargers sound like they're going to be sitting people.
Yeah, they are. They already said Herbert's out, and
so we'll see how it shakes. But yeah, so I like Sutton this week. We'll see how things go, but I think that he's going to be hyper targeted, and you know I will be content if he's a top 24 wide receiver because my only fantasy has not been great.
I'll take top 20 anything because I've been in the top 20 position over the past 3 weeks.
All right, folks. So that's going to do it for us in this week of the show. We are obviously entering the off season, so we may not be on the live broadcast every week. But if you have dynasty questions, if you just want to talk ball, if you are just bored and want to say what's up, you can find us at our personal handles at JOEFRK, at Drew Hannis. So always ready to chop it up. You can find the show's Twitter account at AT412FF Show, and you can find us on YouTube and Twitch at Around the 412. It has been a wonderful season chopping it up with you guys. I hope that the advice that we gave wasn't too far from getting you where you need to go. I know that this has been a fun season for us, and we have a lot of changes planned for 2026, so we're excited to kind of jump into that. We'll probably do some shows in the off season as things become relevant, but you don't want to hear us yapping all off season. So we're probably going to be on vocal rest for a little bit. Might hit some playoff action. We might talk combine. We might talk draft. We'll see. I'm actually at the draft, so we'll see what happens with that.
I'll be there. I won't be in where you're at, but I'll be there with Zach, and we do our live show during the draft on the Around.
So we'll see what happens. Well, I might be able to like get you guys into the draft.
I'll do it.
I might be credentialed, so I might be able to call in from the show, like from the draft.
Derek, I hope Derek can get that too, because my God,
yeah, that would be cool.
Shout out to Derek Bell. If you want to watch any like combine pre-draft coverage, like that dude is the best person on YouTube, Twitter, whatever you want to follow him on. Like his content during the draft is amazing. Like I'm just super psyched for his stuff to start coming out. Obviously, you already discussed it, but we'll be on during the free agent time period and the draft and stuff, and we'll
and you can find Derek on X at Steelers_DB. Somebody that really puts a lot of effort and time into the draft cycle. Really does a good job of like evaluating prospects, giving you just like a good like true football knowledge about it, which is really helpful when you're making those dynasty decisions. So definitely give him a follow. He's all over YouTube as well. His breakdowns of the game, absolutely fantastic. So there's different videos that he does for that, so that's super cool. But Drew, any last minute thoughts as we kind of end the season here?
We ain't ending shit.
If anybody
What's up, Pastors?
Yo, Big Joe in the house. Mini beers. Let's go.
You have this plan?
No. That's really good. Peace out.
Is that?
Papa Frick in the house.
Oh, I never have that. Nice.
Just drop
Who
it
is
in.
his only fantasy for this week?
You know that guy that is like with Drewski all the time that's a big Alabama fan? I feel like that's my dad. So who knows? He'd probably pick Aaron Rodgers, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah.
Should be an off season there too. Hopefully the Steelers aren't done after this week.
No, we'll see what happens. But it has been a pleasure serving y'all as we do. Drew, it's been a great time having you on the show. Appreciate all the work that you put in for the season. The injury guy, the everything that we need him to be guy, the fill in for the host when he can't be there guy. So always holding it down. Shout out to all the viewers. Shout out to Zach and Tyler for letting us ramble on this show every single week for reasons that we don't understand. So there's a lot of good stuff that goes into this and a lot of hands that kind of make this work. So shout out to all of y'all. Like we said, we'll be here for whatever y'all need. Have a wonderful, safe new year, and let's kick some butt in 2026 so we can win those titles back again. Unless you're Ricky Dunks, we're coming for that ass. So until next time, this is Joe Frick. That's Drew Hannes. This is the Around the 412 Fantasy Football Show. Have a wonderful New Year's, and we will see you next season.